This is when I was in middle school. I love exercising, so I did work out wherever there was. And one day, I heard that I would go to an amusement park for a school trip as any other students. I was extremely excited for about 3 weeks, looking forward to the trip. I couldn't stand still for a second. And then, with 1 week left, while working out as usual, but more excited, my left ankle got completely broken. The doctor told me you should get rest at least for 6 weeks. But at that time, I had only 1 week before the trip. So I considered there was no doubt about obeying the doctor and my parents' advice was right. I thought I would be okay, frankly though. Also, I had no worries to burden my friends or other people, so I considered how to persuade my teacher. I went to the teacher, she looked at my foot, and she would never permit my joy. The teacher's opinion was what I had never heard before and what I would never forget. She said that even if you try your best not to disturb other people, when you go there with your crutches, people will think you as a burden. I was shocked by her practical advice, and I realized what matters is not whether I actually burden others, but it is whether I can let others think as I would disturb them. So I decided not to attend the trip, and I got a deep consideration. Even for me, I just had a restriction at once. But for people with crutches or wheelchair, do they have to worry as if they burden others for their whole lives? I thought it was a serious problem. If someone criticizes one's suffering, it would be an individually ethical problem. But if people have to worry as if they were to bother others, it would be a social responsibility. I want to talk about how we should think about common convenience. Not just giving more interests, but building an equal world for mankind. In other words, barrier-free. Barrier-free is a movement to tear down of physical or psychological barriers for socially disadvantaged people. You must have seen a sidewalk which is formed with these blocks. Have you ever ridden a bicycle there? I have, and it was really hard to let the wheels roll stably. Even if there are rattling cracks or high curves, wheelchairs or strollers would be really uncomfortable to move around. We can find this commonly in the streets. This is a cube star. Many of things like this are used for their classic and elegant design. However, have you ever thought those things could also be a barrier? When moving over the streets, their beautiful design may be just one of bumpy surface. Not just when walking with crutches or using wheelchair. When people put on high heels, the cracks between the blocks make it impossible to go over the street simply. In Europe, many country sidewalk blocks are being replaced by asphalt or flat tiles. For a simple instance, this is Stephansplatz Square in Austria, where the entire road is tiled to make it easier to move. This is what barrier-free aims for. Of course, disabled people in Korea can freely move around at all now. However, they might need to put in more effort to move than the majority does. Just as breathing does not mean living, moving does not mean that they are guaranteed the right to move without any difficulties. Society often tends to consider rights for minorities as a toleration. However, barrier-free maintains a society where everyone is comfortable, not giving privilege to the disabled. As you see, the man who is subject to the benefit of making roads flatly is not only the disabled. Everyone will be positively affected by the change of the streets. There are various causes of disability, such as industrial accidents or traffic accidents, even staff or congenital causes. According to the causes, as last 12-year statistics, about 90% of disabled people have disabilities from acquired factors. That's to say, it is not an exaggeration to say that non-disabled people, potentially disabled people. Let's see another case, a case of movie theater. Generally, the most preferred and expensive seats are in the middle, and the least popular seats are in the front row. Most people may want to sit on the middle one, and there's no rule or custom on choosing the seats. We call this first come, first served. But there are some people who cannot sit on where they really want. According to Korea Film Council, about 90% of movie theaters nationwide, the seats for the disabled were restricted to the front or the back row in 2021. This shows why we should focus on a basic problem. Is that really what gives the disabled people the right to watch movies? Although a bill was introduced in 2018 to place the seats for the disabled in the middle or the back to new theaters, nothing solved the basic problem. We can guess how many people are socially disadvantaged even in our daily business. What do you think are the causes of these problems? I believe it is because we thought our role for the disabled is only to help them, not to find and change the causes of disability. Not to find and change the root of the problem. We need to make an effort not only to help them, but also to change causes of irrationality. Unfortunately, if you do not change society when you're non-disabled, it will be much difficult after having a disability. We must prevent their repetition, not to become uphill. If you are comfortable now, you should make others also be comfortable. It means when you are uncomfortable, everyone will also make you comfortable. We can truly live together when consideration, respect, and change are following. When you think okay, please look around if there are any broken sidewalk blocks on your vehicle. Thank you.